Is he a PTA or a Paul Thomas
I
Anderson?
think he has to be a PTA because I always get him mixed up with Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yes.
He doesn't have as much of a good career.
What makes you think that? Hello, I am Sam.
And I'm Ian.
And we welcome you back to the Deep Dive 5. This is episode 10, a show where we dive into 5 topics regarding the career of a filmmaker and their latest film or TV show. Paul Thomas Anderson, also known as PTA, has reached a movie-making milestone with the release of his 10th film, One Battle After Another. The film starring Leonardo DiCaprio will be released on the 26th of September in cinemas worldwide. Mr. Ian, do you think PTA is up there with the legends of modern cinema? And is this one of the most anticipated collaborations of 2025?
It's 2 rather large questions to pose.
Yes.
Let's start with the first one.
Originally, this was going to be a 2-hour podcast, but now it's 2.5 minutes.
Very quickly turned into a 40-minute. Do you think PTA is up there with legends of modern cinema? Yes, very understated though. I genuinely think that he is like the
Tarantino?
No, the Daniel Day-Lewis of directors, in as much as he's quite happy to do his 10 movies, not really do a lot of press and then disappear to make clogs in Italy or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know.
I think he's gonna finish his career with a ridiculous catalogue of movies. Don't get me wrong; they're not all going to be the best things ever. Inherent Vice, I hated Inherent Vice, but I do think that he's going to leave a pretty good legacy.
Yes, he is.
He's just not a showy, right? Like he's not like Chris Nolan, or he's not like Ridley Scott, or he's not like kind of Joseph Kosinski now, or
he makes ordinary stories seem larger than life. I would say none of his films have. None of his films have like the world is at stake. Vibes. They're just basically about greedy oil men, bad Tom Cruise acting,
or just kind of really.
That's probably a bit harsh.
I was watching Boogie Nights the other day, and it's one of those really kind of. It's oddly subtle. And when I was kind of watching, I was like, everything's kind of handled really delicately. Like, given the scale of what it is, like, he could have very easily turned this into, like, a mobster movie. But it's almost like, this is what it was like before porn became mobster-led. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it was almost like a good old days parody of the porn industry before greed took over. So it's almost like, but everything's so subtle. And then when I started kind of viewing it through that lens, I was like, well, then I kind of get Punch Drunk Love, and I kind of get like Licorice Pizza, and I kind of all of those like the subtleties and that start to kind of eke out of his work to almost the point then where something like There Will Be Blood is like almost like an anomaly in his work, because it's while there is subtlety there, there's also a lot of like bravado and loudness about it that a lot of his other films don't have.
Well, we'll get into all his films, but first we'll start with his backstory.
Do it.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Did you know this? I found this very interesting doing my research. Paul Thomas Anderson, also known as PTA, has reached a... hang on. We'll start big. I'm just reading the R chat. Paul Thomas Anderson was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. His father, Ernie Anderson, was a well-known TV and radio personality whose TV character, Girardi, I've probably butchered that, was chosen as the name of PTA's production company. So Paul Thomas Anderson's dad, in the 60s, he was basically the front of like horror TV channels and would like basically like narrate certain ones and basically would like lead shows. So you know in Treehouse of Horror,
Jonathan Pryce,
when episodes like Marge...
Is it Jonathan Pryce? Like where you had like a narrator that opens it, or like when like Hitchcock starts his movies. Vincent Price, yeah. Who is Jonathan Pryce then?
Jonathan Pryce is the actor.
Vincent Price. It's like that. And also you had was it Vampirella? I think I'm talking like Hammer horror stuff now in terms of like opening narrators that would either work as almost like the compere or something like that.
That was kind of his thing in the 60s.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Inspired by his father from an early age to become a filmmaker, Anderson made the 30-minute mockumentary The Dirk Diggler Story.
Yep.
at the age of 17 with money earned cleaning cages in a pet store. This film would set the foundations for Anderson to make Boogie Nights 10 years later, a film that would bring him international acclaim. Now, he did make a film before that called Hard Eight, which I have not seen.
Absolutely impossible to get your hands on.
Is it?
Yeah. Tried it, failed miserably. Okay. So I have no comment on Hard Eight.
Well, I don't think anyone does. PTA soon established himself in Hollywood as a brilliant writer-director with Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, and There Will Be Blood, which starred Daniel Day-Lewis. The latter is considered one of the best films of the 21st century. The 2010s brought further success with the Joaquin Phoenix-led The Master and Inherent Vice, your favourite film, before ending the decade with another Day-Lewis collaboration with Phantom Thread.
My actual favourite film.
Your actual favourite. 2021's Licorice Pizza, Anderson's latest film until this year, brought further success, which further cemented Anderson's place as a filmmaking legend after more than 25 years in the film industry. PTA's films have proven to be highly successful at the Oscars, with There Will Be Blood winning the Best Actor for Daniel Day-Lewis. Now,
he's like the subtle version of Quentin Tarantino. When you think about like the breadth of that career, but he's only on film 10. Like it's quite remarkable, really. It's almost like, you know, he's almost got a very same or a very familiar signature to where he wants his career to be at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like he wants to know what his back catalogue's going to look like, and he doesn't seem to want to just churn stuff out.
It's very hard to sort of, because Boogie Nights is interesting because, I mean, everyone knows Boogie Nights. It's the film that made him famous, made Mark Wahlberg basically the film actor he is. Maybe not today because he's a bit of a loser now, but like 10 years ago, from like Boogie Nights to the mid 2010s, he was pretty huge. Yeah. Even though he wasn't like the best actor, but he had like a presence.
Yeah.
And Boogie Nights is kind of Goodfellas if like it was all about pornography. And I feel like every film after Boogie Nights has been more sort of moulded in like that kind of like Paul Thomas Anderson style, if that makes any sense. Because Boogie Nights is like has got like a really relentless pace.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it has the cynicism of something like a Goodfellas, though. I think Goodfellas knows that it's like it's crime boss entering crime world approach, whereas this was it's kind weirdly like a humble pornographer.
It's kind of the rise and fall of like a seedy world.
Yeah, but like a seedy world that at one point wasn't considered seedy, or like at least from those within it.
Well, because from the perspective of Burt Reynolds.
But you've got Burt Reynolds' perspective. Like that's the thing. You've got Burt Reynolds' character who I think at one point like literally stands up in front of a crowd of people and is just like, I'm making like basically art for the big screen.
Yeah.
And you can only watch this in cinemas, and I'll be dead if I'm, you know, you're never going to see me do straight to VHS.
Yeah.
Like that's just not what I do. I make art pieces, and you're like, yeah, like there's like it doesn't have any of the.
Do you think Babylon learned a lot from this film? Like the end of one age of film, and then it goes to the other with VHS.
Yeah, learnt a lot. Boogie Nights is a good film though.
Oh, we defended Babylon, didn't we?
Well, we defended it up to I don't think we've actually defended it on podcast, but I do think there's elements of it that were okay, but there's others that just doesn't work. The soundtrack is phenomenal, though.
Every time I watch Boogie Nights, I just feel incredibly sorry for William H. Macy. Who,
yeah.
By the way, what a year he had. He made this and Fargo.
Wow. That's not bad, is it?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He's one of the. I would hope we do a podcast about him someday.
At some point.
Because he's just great. Even in Jurassic Park 3 where he's an idiot.
Yep. I mean, that's his MO though, right? Like, William H. Macy is just that character.
There is a film that came out in the mid-2000s that's made by David Mamet, who made an incredibly famous theatre production that became a film with Pacino, Baldwin.
Glengarry
Glen Ross, yeah. So, yeah, he made that in the mid-2000s, and my God, it is quite an experience. I can't think of what it's called.
That's a fantastic movie. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's William H. Macy's. Oh, yeah, when I remember it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And I'll recommend it to the viewers when we do the William H. Macy podcast. But, yeah, it's a brilliant film. How do you think it's aged?
Boogie Nights? In what sense?
Well, the subject matter, the fact it's got Mark Wahlberg in it, which has probably aged quite poorly for a lot of people.
Yeah, but I think as stories and films go, I think there's just... I don't know. There's a weird. I found the same thing. We'll probably get onto it at some point with Punch Drunk Love, where I don't know. It feels like Anderson actually just really likes these characters.
Yeah.
So there's like a charm to the movie that you don't necessarily expect going in. I think there's an element of going into something like Boogie Nights where you kind of think, oh yeah, I am going to see a Goodfellas of the porn industry. But it's not like that. It's a weird like nostalgia trip. So where I kind of then just compared it to Punch Drunk Love is it's like that whole idea of he has a lot of sympathy for his characters and he has a lot of love for them. And so because of that, it then kind of translates itself into something that's not what you expected in a way. So I think in a way then that carries itself a little bit better than it's aged because of the circumstances around it, not necessarily for the film and the story that it's trying to tell. And I think because of that, then it still holds up, I think, in that sense. I could be wrong, I don't know, but like at least from I viewed it recently again in prep for this, and I did walk away from it just thinking there is something weirdly charming. Like you do kind of come away from it feeling sorry for these people.
Yes.
Like you don't walk away just going, oh yeah, well they got what they deserved or anything like that.
Well, that's
like,
the brilliant
You walk
difference.
away feeling sorry for them because they've lost something that they love.
Yeah. Yeah, like in Goodfellas, you don't feel sorry for Henry Hill at the end.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for Mark Wahlberg's character. Funny about with Mark Wahlberg, this role was originally offered to Leonardo DiCaprio.
It was, yeah.
But he made Titanic.
He has come out though and said that's the one role that he regrets the most.
Interesting.
I think he actually came out in a recent podcast to say that.
Okay.
I think he said one of the biggest regrets that he had was the Boogie Nights role. I think.
Oh, talk
I
about.
could be completely wrong, but I swear that was something in a recent podcast DiCaprio did.
Okay.
He
Well,
mentioned
obviously he will. Yeah, because this is their first collaboration, one battle after another, isn't it?
that.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, going back to my original point with like collaborations, do you think this is like the most anticipated of the year? Like DiCaprio and Paul Thomas Anderson finally sort of like combining.
It's a pretty good combination, right?
Do you think it will do well at the box office because of that?
No. I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson stuff generally does that well in the cinema.
They do not. It's very similar to Scorsese, where there's so much acclaim around the filmmaker, but in terms of box office returns, it's quite limited.
Yeah, and yeah, a lot of his movies, for instance, that they're very very high. Well, is it high in the zeitgeist? An important part of the zeitgeist, like culturally, for instance, it has quite a big impact. Like there's a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies, for instance, that compared to Paul W.S. Anderson, you're going to be remembering Paul Thomas Anderson's films a lot more than you are,
Well, what's AVP 1?
all of the Resident Evil movies.
The first two have their moments.
First one's alright.
I would rather watch Resident Evil 2 than Magnolia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Magnolia.
Magnolia is too melodramatic, which I get is kind of the point.
It's very indulgent.
But I don't really. Again, I like John C. Reilly's character, but every other character was just so awful.
Yeah.
But
we're going to get into this argument again. They're meant to be awful. That's the whole point.
but just because something is meant doesn't mean it's good.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, you can not enjoy being in the presence of some characters, but still, like, kind of appreciate the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Magnolia is.
I
Quite
get
good
that.
at.
Like we'll talk about There Will Be Blood. Daniel Plainview is.
Let's not talk about episode 5 of Alien again.
Oh, okay.
Alien Earth again.
Well, if our listeners need to know, we had an
off-camera 2-hour conversation about
which is eaten into
poignancy.
this podcast.
Yeah, which is why we only have 40 minutes to record this podcast.
Yeah, Daniel Plainview is like the worst character probably conceived by PTA, and he's fantastic.
Okay.
So I can get on board with that. I have to say, very similar to Christopher Nolan, Paul Thomas Anderson can be very hit and miss. Like I love Boogie Nights. I absolutely adore Phantom Thread, and There Will Be Blood.
Phantom Thread for me is one of
That's
the
my favourite one.
life-changing movies.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it at cinema.
There Will Be Blood I enjoy immensely, but I would say every other film I can probably pass to a certain extent. Where
I was hugely disappointed by The Master.
Yes, I think I remember you saying that back in the day.
I remember just kind of getting to the end of it and just being like, where's the meat on this bone?
Well,
you know,
I watched Punch Drunk Love with a lot of anticipation, and I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I wish I got more out of it.
I made the mistake of
it had
watching
its moments.
Punch Drunk with a lot of people hammering into me the whole Superman analogy.
Yeah.
And I think that ruined it for me.
Okay.
I think if I went in there a bit more open-minded, do you know what? I say this every year. I always think to myself, I need to dedicate some time to Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
Because actually, when I look at his list of movies, the only one that I've seen at the cinema was Phantom Thread.
Which is fantastic.
And that is also the one that completely changed my life. So there is an argument for it's all about the setting, it's all about your attention span, and it's all about being able to completely fall into his approach to filmmaking.
Yes.
And so I wonder if that's it. Because I did a similar thing with Boogie Nights. It was a case of I sat there and I gave myself to the film, and it rewarded me so much in its subtlety and in its charm that had I have gone in with different expectations, it might have, say, come out differently. And that's what you have with a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson stuff, is everyone's constantly telling you how good this stuff is. Is that then your first and potentially only viewing of a lot of his films, because they don't really allow for a lot of repeat viewing unless you can find 3 hours to, sit in front of a TV and give yourself to it. It sounds pretentious what I'm saying, but it's essentially that whole idea of it rewards you the more that you give to the movie.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you get so much. So I think that's why with things like The Master and things like that, I watched quite flippantly when I just needed to watch stuff and consume as much as I can. That I wonder whether or not it will hit differently. Should I go, I'm going to take tomorrow off, and tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to give myself to The Master.
Yeah.
I'll never do it to Inherent Vice again. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that thing. And I think that plays into potentially why that is that hit or miss element of Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes, I agree. I feel like if I watched even Magnolia at the cinema, I would be, as you say, more consumed by it. But his latest film, One Battle After Another, based on the trailers, it does look like his most action-packed film. But again, the trailers might mislead this.
I think
the film
might
is like
be
2 hours, 40 minutes long.
Yeah, because what was it? There was a film that came out like 3 weeks ago with Aronofsky has done like an action movie.
Caught Stealing.
Yeah. So perhaps this is a way that, is this a direction that a lot of directors that are going and actors are going in? Because it really surprised me to see something that action-packed from Aronofsky. I was like, where's the depth? Where's Mother? Is there going to be time for us to go into analogies about climate change?
I think well-established directors, sometimes they just want to make a film for the filmmaking process without having too many deep meanings.
Yeah, but someone like Paul Thomas Anderson don't make films that often. You've got 10 films over 25 years. Like, that doesn't give you a lot of time to just go, yeah, I'm just going to, Scorsese it and just go and make Silence because I fancy it this year. I've got 3 other movies coming out this year, but I'll just, Silence is just a film. He's not that kind of filmmaker. It's the same as Tarantino, right? Everything is considered.
With DiCaprio making a film with Paul Thomas Anderson, has he become the most, I don't even know what the word is, but like golden collaboration in the history of cinema?
DiCaprio? Or?
DiCaprio. So he has worked with, I'll try and do this in order. Baz Luhrmann.
Well.
James Cameron. Danny Boyle. Spielberg. Clint Eastwood. Did I say Scorsese? Yeah. No, Scorsese. Paul Thomas Anderson now. And I'm definitely missing one more. Really,
Alejandro Giannaruto.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's fucking mad.
Yeah. And also, a lot of those directors, more than once.
Yes.
Like, that's where it becomes.
Well, he's done 40 films with Scorsese at this point, hasn't he?
40. 43. If you count the runtime of a few of them, then you could probably add on a few more movies there. But
Oh, Tarantino. I didn't mention Tarantino, did I? Yeah. Maybe it was Tarantino I was thinking of.
Well, still, that's pretty good list.
Because I haven't. Did you see J. Edgar? I've never seen it, but it's interesting. That's a Clint Eastwood DiCaprio movie.
Yeah, it's there.
Who
It
is
exists.
left? Like, honestly, Nolan. He's worked with Nolan.
He's what? Yeah, Chris Nolan. Chris Nolan. Yep. Oh yeah, who could be left?
Like that is very impressive.
Ridley Scott
He has worked with Ridley Scott for Body of Lies
and Thelma and Louise.
and
No,
no, not Thelma.
no. Ignore that.
There you go. He's so famous.
Tim Burton.
No, but that would be very trippy.
That'd be weird, wouldn't
Can
it?
you imagine that? If they make
who
an
else could
Edward
it be?
Scissorhands 2, can DiCaprio be Edward Scissorhands?
You know, I wonder though whether or not like other acclaimed filmmakers in genres that DiCaprio would never appear in. So I'm thinking like the Russo brothers. Potentially not. And I mean, why would you work with the Russo brothers off things like The Grey Man and Cherry? They're just not worth it.
What about Doomsday?
I don't know. Who
I
else
think
would
he
you
has
do?
literally just worked with everybody now.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody
is
of
there any? I mean, what about like Catherine Bigelow? Or yeah, go down that.
Maybe
route.
I'll work with Greta Gerwig someday.
Greta Gerwig,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like surely like I mean when you look at things like Barbie and you look at the impact of Barbie and then the people in Barbie, there's an element of like actually you could see DiCaprio fitting into something.
He hasn't worked with Aronofsky.
Oh, he hasn't, has he?
There you go.
No.
But Greta Gerwig, they could just make a nice like New York drama with Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, I tell you what, he hasn't worked with the guy who did is it Drive?
Oh, that weirdo, Nicholas Rendon.
Nicholas Rendon Refn.
Yeah, I'll never forgive that man for Only God Forgives.
Only God Forgives is one of the worst things ever made. Like literally, only God can forgive that movie.
Is this like the most anticipated film for the rest of the year? Because it's, well, I mean, we're recording in September, and I can't think of anything that has
To
this
be honest,
level of pedigree.
I'm not very good at the schedule at the moment. I couldn't tell you what's
Well,
coming out
Marty
next week.
Supreme is coming out, and that's made by one of the Safdie brothers, and it's got Timothy Chalamet. So that might be fairly big, but I feel like this is
I think you got the Springsteen biopic as well. Is that not out soon?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's quite, but only because of the main guy, the guy from The Bear.
Yeah.
Is there any Marvel films out for
Jeremy
the rest
Allen
of the year?
White.
Is there anything else on the
No,
docket for
Marvel's done
Marvel?
now.
Marvel's done. We've got no more DC. God, that's unusual not to have a comic book movie in November.
Yeah,
Not-
their
not
next
had that
big
for a little
one.
while.
Is it Doomsday?
Surely not. Surely they have to have something in between.
I think they do, but I can't think of it at the moment. But no, one battle after another. Do you anticipate it being a big hit? Paul Thomas Anderson, in terms of reviews, is usually pretty
positive.
acclaimed.
And
I
he's
think
got a
Inherent
good cast
Vice
behind
is
him.
his worst reviewed film,
Yeah, I did not like Inherent Vice.
which is still like pretty decent.
Yeah, that was too indulgent. That also didn't make any sense to me. It was too trippy. Actually, that made me frustrated. It's one of those rare movies where you're just like, the narrative of this is so all over the place that I dislike. I couldn't rewatch this because I disliked it so much.
Yeah.
It's very unusual that I will ever get actually annoyed at a movie. I will get to a point where I'm like, well, I didn't like that. It was a bit boring. It was a bit dull. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I can get to the end of it. This actively made me annoyed.
Yeah.
Which was frustrating. In terms of big hit, I don't think it's going to make a lot of money. I think we said this at the beginning.
Yeah.
Won't make a lot of money. Probably pretty decent reviews. I think it will have its detractors. I think there are people that will walk away from it just going, all right, it won't appeal to masses.
This could be his. I don't know. It could. You've got DiCaprio. The trailers. It looks more action packed than previous PTA films. Has any of his films ever broken 100 million? I think There Will Be Blood might have.
I doubt
Could
it.
this be the one that does that?
I even doubt if There Will Be Blood did it. That was a real award contender.
Yes. Yeah. Do you hope that Daniel Day-Lewis collaborates with Paul Thomas Anderson again?
Oh, I don't know.
Somewhere
He's doing,
down the
is it
future.
Anemone? What he's doing with his
It's
son?
with his son.
Um,
A nice little, just to complete.
that's
a nice
that's
little,
out this year, isn't it?
That's out next month, I think.
That's got to be pretty sought after.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Could be one. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis one.
Yeah, might as well, because there won't be another one for 20 years.
Ever, possibly.
Where do you see PTA's career progressing as the 2020s go on? Like, do you see him ever doing anything remotely like a blockbuster? Or do you
I
just
don't
see
think he'd
him
want
having a
to.
very consistent path with where he's
I reckon it would be more consistent. He's very story driven, more so than
Yes.
box office driven. So it wouldn't surprise me as a filmmaker, he will just look for more films that he can make. what does that mean now, though? Like, that's the hardest question. Does that mean then he might get in bed with a streaming service because they're the only people that might offer him 100 million to make an obscure critical darling because that's what they want at the moment to be considered like, you know,
Yeah, well,
quality.
Scorsese's in the Apple TV.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
and you know, Fincher's with Netflix, and you know, there's huge filmmakers that are with streaming services for that very reason, right? That we wouldn't have things like Mank and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
they get a little-
Even the Russo brothers got given what, like 300 million to make The Grey Man for Netflix. You joking? And Apple, I think, threw money at the Russo brothers to make Cherry. I can't believe I've brought those two films up again, but it's the example here of filmmakers turning to streaming services to give them the budget they need. Will Paul Thomas Anderson do that? Don't know. Because he's not as, let's say, he can't guarantee you a good return on your money. So perhaps he might stay in the indie scene for a bit longer.
yeah. Well, all his films are always set in the past. I think the most modern film he has made, based on this list, is Punch Drunk Love, which I think is actually a contemporary setting.
Yeah.
Do you see him making a film involving an Apple phone?
You see him making a film about AI. I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see, but again, I think it's all to do with the subtleties of his relationships and his characters. I could almost see him making, if you're going to go down that route, I could almost see him making Her.
Do you know what?
Spike Jonze, that'd be another one he could work with.
Weirdly,
DiCaprio's not
I
worked
was
with.
thinking Her is like...
He's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie about sci-fi,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it feels very much in that realm.
Yeah, so I could kind of see that being a thing.
But he has a lot of clout. You go back to whether he'll do streaming services, he still has a lot of clout. Like, very few people would be allowed to make, like, Licorice Pizza.
Yeah.
Like, that film came out during COVID, I think.
Yep.
And that did fairly well, I believe.
Yeah.
But you need people
But then,
like
I mean,
him,
look at
because he keeps cinema, like, grounded almost.
He's like Linklater in that respect.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
it's that idea as well that you could probably get a good return off of him because he's not expecting a big budget. He doesn't need one.
Yeah.
So as a filmmaker, he still gets away with the theatrical release because if he only needs 10 million to make something, he's going to make the most of that 10 million, you know? So he's probably still bankable in that respect, right? But yeah, where he goes next, I think is really hard to determine because even his back catalogue isn't like something that you can go, oh yeah, he's so diverse in what he does.
Yeah, but he does have one of the most consistent filmographies of the last, nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
But I think the only ones that can compete now is Tarantino and Nolan.
Yeah.
Because even Scorsese hit a bit of a rough patch.
Scorsese's
in the
got ebbs and
mid-2000s.
flows for the sheer amount that he's made.
And he's still
So
so
is
young.
Ridley Scott's now got more negative than positive in his catalogue.
Yes.
So they're even Spielberg, right, to an extent. Apparently, he was really like wanting to make the Call of Duty movie.
Yes, there's been a lot of story about that.
Yeah, and apparently Activision went, nah, sorry, you're not a good fit. Are you joking? So yeah, I don't really know what to think about that, you know. And also, like, you know, Spielberg also was involved with like the Halo stuff. He was in it. He was out of it. Ready Player One wasn't great.
Prolific executive producer to the point where I just don't think it just has his name on it to bring clout.
Yeah. It's just you can put it on a trailer.
Yeah, like the producers of Halo said, "Oh yeah, he's involved in the scripts." Like, no, he isn't. He's not even involved in his own scripts.
Yeah, he sees a script and goes, "Oh, that's good," and he goes, "That's a good title," and that's it.
Yeah,
passed on.
What do you rank as his best film?
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread,
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
If we ever do such a ranker with Phantom Thread, I will be intrigued. If, like, I don't know, not Goodfellas, because you don't like that film. The Dark Knight. Whether The Dark Knight will be on it.
Oh.
What will be ranked higher.
Yeah.
And would you recommend our listeners to see one battle after another?
I would, yeah. I think at the moment as well, cinema is a bit quiet. There's bits and pieces that are coming out, but I'm not really sure whether or not something like The Roses is going to be enough to take you away from the opportunity to see a PTA movie at the cinema.
Jaws did well.
That
film.
Indiana Jones trilogy did well.
Did.
Like, all the anniversary editions do surprisingly well.
They do very well, yeah. Even Jumanji's come out and doing well.
That's amazing.
The original Jumanji, the good one, not the terrible new ones. The length is putting me off. It's like 2 hours 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but
I don't mind that though in a cinema.
Yes,
I mind it more at home. I don't know why. Don't tell me. I can't even give you a reason why. But I mind it more.
The cinema is your church, and you give it the respect it deserves.
Now that's very Goodfellas of you.
Right, I believe that is the end of the episode, Mr. Ian.
Yeah.
I might start calling you Mr. Ian from now on.
Oh, I'm up for that.
Yeah,
I'll be Mr. Ian.
Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the Deep Dive 5. We want to hear your opinions on the career of PTA. What would you rank as his career highlight? If you would like to get more out of the Real Project, you can find us on Spotify. Goodbye and see you soon.
See ya.